there's a whole mess of ways to record stuff, and you got to think about this all. I mean, like when you're in a live band setting and you're like, man, you know, we only got 45 minutes of studio time. Our lead singer does play guitar at the same time. We've rehearsed all this stuff. Yeah, mic everything up separately, mic it all, mic whatever, and you go. And you track everything separately. You deal with bleed and stuff like that because it's supposed to be a demo. It's supposed to be rough. It's supposed to be garagey. You can do that. And you can actually get good sounds. And a lot of records you've probably listened to have done that, and that's what will trip you out. Is you're like, man, I really like that Sonic Youth record. Oh, well, they recorded everything at the same freaking time, and that's why you get that gnarly like lo-fi thing.
Yeah,
you know, it's the purpose of your recording. And then those other bands where you like want to sound like, I don't know, Fall Out Boy or some other ass-tastic band like that. And you know, they isolate everything. They use $20,000 microphones, and everything is separate, and everything takes like 3 weeks to freaking record. You know, and they get a really clean, very polished album. And that's why you record things separately, so you can go and make everything accentuate, and then you get all this good isolation and whatnot. But that's expensive and time consuming. So I mean, like, it's two different ideologies, similar kind of like rock music, or you got singers and songwriters who can't sing without their guitar, so you actually have to do both at the same time. Or you got the guy from a hardcore band just screaming into it SM57 while everybody else is playing, and you get a better performance if they're all playing together. So I mean, it's like everything will change. I mean, if you're doing hip hop, like he doesn't have to worry about this question.
Well, actually, I thought about that, and I do have to worry about this question. Not about recording vocals separately, but what was common for me in recording hip hop is I'd have, you know, a producer come through, and they'd most likely bring an MPC or a keyboard workstation or something like that, and you know, I'd have guys come in, and we'd run 2-track, or we'd run, you know, 2 outs from the MPC and record the whole instrumental. Sometimes they have to resequence it there if one of the lyricists to change their lyrics. But one issue is that I had some people who would bring a CD in, like, oh, this is my track. What do you make it on? Oh, I make it on an MPC. And their mixes were terrible. Yeah. I mean, their drums were too hot. You know, the melodic elements were too quiet, and I just couldn't stand it. I mean, half the time it was clipping, you know, on these CDs he gave me, and there wasn't much I could do to repair that. So, you know, I asked the guy what kind of MPC he had, and it turned out he had 8 outs on the thing, and so I had him bring it over, and then, you know, I'd record each part, and then I'd do my own mix. And that gave me a lot more creative flexibility, and their end product turned out a lot better. So I thought about it, and there were times when I did have to worry about that, doing mostly hip-hop.
But it kind of goes to the thing is that this has nothing to do with why you would record things separately or together. This has to do with how you record it. I mean, like, the question that we're kind of tackling is less about, like, why do I sit and record my vocals separately from the track? It's because you want different tracks. That's what you want. I mean, like, you can do it all at the same time. Like, literally, you can record, you know, if you have a 24 track recorder, you can record 24 tracks at the same time, separately, isolated if mic'd properly, and get the same mixing values that you go back and do it later. That's why you don't record and mix at the same time.